Next question. Ashley. Hello, Ashley. Yeah, good evening, Ashley. All right, Ashley writes, I showed my mother the Houston Chronicle today and the article about the number of COVID deaths in the past few days. My mother believes that the hospitals count all deaths as COVID deaths. Yeah, it's not just your mother, and there are people actually saying this, and those people don't know what they're doing. Yeah. I don't believe this is true. Well, your spidey sense is... yeah, you're right. Because if doctors were doing this, this would be fraud, and they would all lose their medical licenses. And they worked very hard to get to this point, and they have professional integrity, and they're pretty smart. you know, you kind of have to be. Yeah. So, yeah. Ugh. All right, fine. Clarification on this topic. Happy to do it. So I had to look it up, and I thought, well, there must be a set of rules for what you can consider a COVID death, what you can't consider, and oh my gosh, is it there? And I'm posting the link to the PDF, and you can download it. It actually comes from the CDC, the Bureau of Vital Statistics, and it is about as riveting as that section on the back of the tax form that tells you how to fill out every box of the tax form. It's that level of bureaucratic, wonderful detail, and just give it to your mother. Give it to your mother, and just let her enjoy it. Yeah. But yeah, the point is that there are different boxes on these forms that you fill in when somebody has died. And you've got to try and figure out what are the underlying causes, and you're using your medical judgment to do this, the thing that you train for in medical school. And so, yeah, you're trying to figure out the underlying causes and figure out what was what was the root cause, and what were some of the other causes that were kind of stacked on top of it that finally, straw that broke the camel's back. Yeah, pushed this person, unfortunately, over the edge. And so there's guidance in there. And yeah, it all involves professional judgment. But the section that I'm guessing I don't think your mother's read this form. Yeah. I also doubt that the person that your mother was listening to or talking to probably also did not read this form. Yeah. Because this form is nearly impenetrable. Yeah. It's a government form. It looks like a government form. It feels like one. It is authentic. Anyway, yeah. It shows you how to report it, why to report it, when to report it, and there's one section that says that if you're in a situation, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have this thing in front of me, and if I did, you would all go to sleep because it's very boring. But it says that if you're in a situation where you maybe can't do a test, and in the professional judgment of the doctor, this person has probably died from COVID and has symptoms that are consistent with it, then you are allowed to mark it down for now as being probably COVID, but you have to then go back afterward and actually do the test and figure out if it was COVID. And then if it turns out it wasn't, then you have to go back and change your answer. Yeah, because we live in a society of facts, yeah, and data. Yeah, you're not allowed to just make things up. So no. The other thing that's worth considering is these, if you go to the financialtimes.com coronavirus page, like ft.com coronavirus, Google that, it'll take you to it. You can get to their little thing, and they've got a wonderful little interactive tool that can toggle between deaths and cases, and you can look at it by country or by U.S. state over time. And you can look at the data different ways, like number of people per million people total, like, proportionate, or just number of people total. You show it on log scale, you can show it on a regular scale, all of whatever makes you, happiest little data bunny there is. And also on this, right below that tool, there's a little thing that looks at excess deaths. And so there's about the same number of deaths at any particular time during any particular year. And so if you have last year, it should look like this. And if you have this year, it should look like this. But what it looks like is this. And all this extra stuff, these are excess deaths. more people dying this year than last year. And you know what? They happen to coincide with the number of COVID cases. The thing is, most of these curves show that there are actually more excess deaths than are being counted as COVID deaths, which means that we are probably still in a situation where COVID deaths, at least in America, are being underreported. It looks like Iran may be in a similar situation, or they may just, I don't know what's going on in Iran, but they were in the news. A place like Brazil, they have very high death numbers, but relatively low case numbers, which means they're probably not doing a great job of testing, which I'm also certain is the case. And so, yeah, that's kind of your key to exploring the data and looking at it. And you can actually watch it come in. They update it every day. They smooth it out, though, over 7 days because there's this thing where clinics aren't open or don't do reporting as much, or maybe the testing labs, cut back a little bit so that people don't go crazy on the weekends. And so there's like a 2-day dip and then a big spike right after the dip every single week. And that's where it's coming from. So there you go. And so they even it out over 7 days, and that gets rid of that dip and just shows you the actual trajectory of the virus in different places. And yeah, it's really nice for seeing if the infection has peaked wherever you are. Yeah, which I guess is Houston. Yeah. So, same place where I am, but yeah, you can have a look. So, thanks very much. This has been Ask Dr. Ben, and have a wonderful night.